Live from the Student Union on campus, this is Gold Mine Live. Your weekly all-access pass inside Charlotte Athletics is brought to you by Ortho Carolina, proud to present the 2017 Charlotte 49ers football season. Bojangles, it's bow time. Your Carolina Ford dealers. Go to yourfordchoice.com and enter the Adventure Ready giveaway to win a 2017 Escape or Fusion from your Carolina Ford dealers. Harris Teeter, where 49ers fans shop for groceries. University Eye Associates. And by Wells Fargo. Charlotte 49er fans, show your pride with a customized Wells Fargo debit card. Stop by your nearest Wells Fargo or visit Wells Fargo Card Design Studio online to learn more. Now, here's your host, the voice of the 49ers, Matt Swerad.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to Gold Mine Live in the Student Union today with Coach Mark Price and Jobey Thomas. I'm Matt Swerad. It's a split show today, so we'll talk about the Niners women's basketball program in the second half hour, but with Coach Price and talking about the men's program in the first 30 minutes here today. It's also for a programming note, our last show of 2017. The men's team is on the road next week, so no show. And then going to the holiday break, we'll come back here the second week of January to get things going once we get into conference play. Well, Coach, this is a big week because, of course, first and foremost, the academic side, it's final exams. So folks here at the Union studying right now, and players have a lot on their plates this week. They do.
I know a lot of our guys have tests today, finals today, and really all throughout the week. So it's this is always a tough week, as a student athlete, because having to study for finals and also continue to practice and try to prepare for games coming on. But we have a week to get ready now for ECU and then head into South Florida after that. But the first couple of days here, I'm giving the guys off just to try to get off to a good start this week academically, and hopefully get some good study time in the next couple of days before we get back on the court and start practicing some.
Also, as you mentioned, gives you a chance to get a little bit more practice time in once they get the exams wrapped up, and a lot of that happens before the middle of the week. And you go into East Carolina, which is a week from today. You got a week off before you play your next basketball game and a chance to get back into the gym and work on some stuff. Yeah, no question. It's just, getting back into the gym, like you said, and trying to find ways correct things, try to find a way to play better. That's really the bottom line. We're struggling as a team right now in a lot of areas, but we got to find a way to work ourselves out of it. We got individuals that are struggling, as well within our team, and so we got to try to get everybody going here in the next couple games and try to get ourselves in a position to get ready for conference play. I know you like. I'm sorry, Jobey. I just want that. I know you like the pieces of this team. And one thing, a couple of years ago, going into that break, had the good game against Georgetown, but then you had the week off to get really just back in the gym and came out with a lot of fire against App State, and that kind of propelled you into the conference season. And kind of hoping for the same thing this year. Yeah, no question. I mean, right now it's we're playing poorly. That's just the reality of it. And so we got to find our way to work ourselves out of it. We got to come up with the rotation. We got to get guys that aren't playing well playing better. We got to continue to have the guys that are playing well right now continue to play well, and put have a game where we have 3, 4, 5 guys that are playing well at the same time, and we really haven't had that all season.
Yeah, Coach, I was just going to say, we talk often about the mental side of the game, and, when things, are a grind and individuals are struggling, it seems to have that snowballing effect at times. As much as you want to focus on the X's and O's and some of the execution, how do you kind of help the guys through some of the mental struggles maybe that are attributing to the way they're playing?
Yeah, I think just a lot of communication, talking, trying to find ways to help guys off the court, on the court. Get the confidence back. We got some of our guys struggling. They've struggled, some of them for most of the season so far, and trying to get guys out of that. And a lot of, I just go back to my own experiences as a player, and I know you've had them as a player too. We all go through slumps or times when we're maybe not playing our best, but the only way to kind of work yourselves out of there is blood, sweat, and tears. Get back out on the court and just keep working at it until it clicks again for you.
Yeah, it's that balance between you've got to think a lot. People don't understand how much you think when you play basketball, and yet it just has to come naturally. So you're aware of what's going on, the mental side, but when you get in that funk, you tend to overthink. You're thinking about everything you do on your jump shot, about every pass you make, and that's never a recipe for success.
You're exactly right. Sometimes when you think too much, it almost becomes debilitating to you. You know, you worry about every mistake you're going to make or every missed shot you're going to take, and if you play that way, you know, it really handcuffs you to a situation where most times you don't play well. So there is that fine line. Yeah, you have to play smart. You know, you have to play within the system. You got to do, but at the same time, you got to play loose. You got to play with confidence. You got your shots. You got to take them. But the biggest thing for us is just, you know, turning the ball over. You know, right now, for the season, we got more turnovers than assists, and that doesn't bode well for playing well. You got to protect the ball. You got to be able to get shots at the basket. And the last couple games we've had, you know, 20 turnovers, and it's hard to win. It's hard to beat anybody when you turn the ball that much.
You know, when you look at some of the recent games, we go back to yesterday, trying to find that spark at the beginning of the game. You did change the lineup, and you put Ryan Murphy in there, and he did provide that initial spark, maybe the first couple of buckets of the game. But you're still trying to find a way to get these guys kind of fired up at the beginning. Yeah,
we, you know, trying to find a way to get off to a good start and then sustain it. You know, good start and then play, you know, 40 minutes. It just seems like we have stretches. Like yesterday, you know, we started off okay, and then we had a stretch where, you know, they kind of pushed it out to a 10, you know, really more than that, 10, 12, 14-point lead. And then we had a good stretch, you know, the last 10 minutes of the first half. We got back in the game. We were tied at halftime. And so we just got to get to where we're playing consistently well, more than just in spurts, for us to be successful.
That last 6 minute, though, spurt of the first half, when you took that 14-point deficit and tied the game at 29, a lot of that happened because of the defense, and you guys really kind of picked up the intensity of that group you had on the floor at that time.
Yeah, no question. We've got to get better defensively. That was a group that really is probably one of our best defensive groups that we can have on the floor, and they did a really good job. I mean, I think they scored in the last 10 minutes. I think they might have scored 4 or 6 points, you know, and that's really great defense. And the problem was, you know, at times we didn't take advantage of it on the offensive end. During that stretch, we were able to make some shots, but we gotta be able to get back into, you know, when we do get stops, you know, pushing the ball up the floor, making it, you know, try to get some easy baskets along the way. It's tough to grind it out for 40 minutes playing half-court basketball.
You know, one of the things you talk about, you want to get those upperclassmen clicking again, and that's really the key to this team right now. But you also get a chance at this moment to see some of these younger guys before conference play get extended minutes. And I thought yesterday, coming back from the ankle injury, Luka Vasic played, you know, in spurts some of his best basketball in his short time as a 49er.
Yeah, I mean, Luka's a guy we're really high on. You know, it's just a matter of trying to get him more minutes, more consistent minutes out there, giving him that opportunity. He helped himself yesterday by the way he played. He's a guy that plays with great intensity. He gives us some real length at the wing position. He can guard a lot of people, and he showed yesterday he has the ability to make an open shot when he's open. So, you know, hopefully he can continue to build on that, and we can get him more minutes out on the floor.
During one of those comebacks, you know, he was actually looking for the ball he wanted, and a couple of those threes that he made, so that was nice to see. And you know, in moments too, Jalen Haslam played pretty well yesterday and did a better job on the glass. And I know he'd love to have a couple of those shots back, but he's getting better. Yeah,
he is getting better. Like you said, you know, we had 2 or 3 right around the rim, you know, that you got to put in the basket. He knows that. He's going to continue to work, but you know, I thought we did some good things yesterday at times. You know, but we got to be able to score the ball better and not get ourselves in a situation where we're playing from behind. That's just been the MO the last 3-4 games for us, and we got to find a way to remedy that.
Don't say this because you're related, but I'll tell you right now, Hudson Price has been a lifesaver. He's playing so well right now, and it's been a big part of the success that we have been able to have at this point.
Yeah, I mean, Hudson's, you know, he's just grinding it out. You know, the guy he plays both ends of the floor. I mean, yesterday he had to guard their best player. You know, a guy made like 8 points in the first, I think, 5 minutes of the game, and then only got 3 the rest of the way. I mean, Hudson did a fantastic job on him on the defensive end of the floor, and then obviously Hudson led us in scoring as well on the other end. So he's doing all he can right now. We got to get more guys coming along and you know, adding pieces. Once we do that, I think we have a chance to be a good team.
made a great point about the defense on London, because he came out 6'10", made a couple of threes, was playing with confidence. They built that lead up. When we came back in the game, he really was a non-factor.
He really was. Like I said, Hudson was guarding him most of the game, and then when he did get the ball in the post, we double-teamed him some. That really helped us. I think that's something we're going to have to probably work on and do a little bit more as we move forward. But, you know, like I said, Hudson did a great job on him. He was, you know, a guy that's been scoring, you know, I think his last game he had something like 25 points, 18 rebounds. So he's a guy that could put up big numbers, and Hudson did a great job on him.
Let's take our first break of the show. Again, it's a split show here today. We're going to talk, of course, the first half hour with Coach Price, the second half hour with Coach Cara Consuegra. Back with more Gold Mine Live here from the Student Union on the Charlotte IMG Sports Network.
The Ford year-end sales event is in full swing.
Hey, Santa Claus is coming.
'Tis the season.
No, that's him in my blind spot.
He is rocking that scooter.
With a sidecar.
Doesn't need reindeer, baby.
Making the holidays happen. That's Ford, America's best-selling brand. Now during the Ford year-end sales event, get 0 for 72 plus 1,000 cash back on a 2017 F-150. See your Carolina Ford dealer today.
Sophie, his 13th birthday. Gift, we've got you. Guitar, coming tomorrow. Road game today, surprise party tomorrow. Change of plans. Game tomorrow.
No, birthday tomorrow.
Hotel. Guitar, reroute.
Birthdays are on birthdays.
Party, relocate. UPS My Choice makes rerouting packages easy. How we're helping companies solve for the needs of customers like Sophie.
Welcome back to Gold Mine Live, our last show before the holiday break, and we'll talk with head coach Mark Price. The Niners off until a week from today at East Carolina, the second of 6 consecutive road games before the first conference home game coming up on January the 11th against Marshall. Well, in the game yesterday at Chattanooga, you know, some of the things we talked about, Coach, on the pregame show with, you know, keys to a Niner win. You know, one of them we already talked about. You know, you turn the ball over, but another thing too was we looked at that game, getting the pace going, and Coach, the new coach at Chattanooga was coming from Wisconsin, slowing things down. They still get up and down the floor a little bit more than those teams do, but certainly dictated the pace of the game. We couldn't get going like we wanted to go. Yeah, we knew coming in that you know, coming from Wisconsin, that they run that swing style offense and also the pack line defense, and so it really makes it hard to get the tempo going. You know, we were able to get out a couple times, but not very many, and so, you know, it really got into a grinding contest, you know, on the defensive end and half-court offense, and that definitely played to their advantage. In that game yesterday, you know, we talked about trying to get those big three going again. Sometimes, I know they're trying to. They want to turn it around as quick as they can too, and it's just not easy sometimes. And yesterday they had a chance to sit and watch some guys play and make that comeback in the first half, and that's got to be probably eating at them a little bit too. Yeah, I mean, nobody wants to play bad. I mean, you know, or struggle out on the court. You know, as Jobey mentioned earlier, you know, I think it just gets to be sometimes becomes a mental thing after a while. I mean, you know, they're the same guys that have been here for the last 2-3 years. We know what their capabilities are. You know what they can do, and then, you know, they're just struggling right now, and they got to find a way. In some ways, it's on them to find a way to work it out. You know, we can only do so much as coaches. We can tell them what to do, draw up plays, this and that, but Jobey knows as a player, ultimately, you just got to go out on the floor and you got to make it happen, and so you got to fight through those times, and that's part of being an athlete. You know, you're going to have ups and downs. You're going to have good games. You're going to have bad games. You got to be able to mentally work yourself out and be resilient, you know, and fight through some things. So, you know, our guys got to find a way to work themselves out of it. Coach John Davis, you know, big key to his team's success the last 2 seasons, and came in off a big summer, you know, high expectations. I know he personally had high expectations for himself. Last 2 games, you know, 14 turnovers, and a lot of them just uncharacteristic of John. Do you think, you know, maybe the mental pressure that he's put on himself to try to carry this team is really kind of taking its toll? Yeah, I think it is. You know, I've talked to John. I talk to him every day and just try to help him, you know, talk through some things and, you know, tell him how much I believe in him. I mean, he's been a great player for us here for the last 2 years. I believe he's going to be a great player for us this year. You know, he's going through a rough patch right now, and he's got to find a way not just to
get caught up in maybe he's not playing well, but not let that affect how he runs the team. And I think that shows up in the turnovers the last couple games. You know, you get kind of out of it mentally, and you're not focused and locked in, and maybe you're not shooting well, or maybe you're not getting a shot here and there, but it can't affect it, particularly from the point guard position. You got to still be able to like run our team, help our guys, keep them involved, and be a positive, you know, make a positive impact on the game.
In the game yesterday, we talked about rebounding and not giving them second chances. Only 2 offensive rebounds in the first half, but I thought maybe one of the turning points in the second half, it was still a close game midway through the second half. There was a couple of possessions where a 3 was missed, a long rebound came out, extended their possession, they made a bucket, and extended the lead. Yeah,
that was one thing we talked about, particularly against a team like that runs so much clock offensively. You know, those offensive rebounds, you know, you're guarding for 25, 26 seconds, and then if they get it again, you're having to guard another 25, 26 seconds. And those are situations you want to stay out of. Like you said, I thought for the most part early in the game we stayed out of those situations. But they did get a couple of them in the second half that hurt us.
So now we move forward, go to East Carolina next week, a team that we've seen over the last few years, of course, in Conference USA too, that first time around. They've had a coaching change. Coach Lebo decided to step aside and retire. So it looks like since that change has been made, they've turned around a little bit and starting to play a little bit better basketball. Yeah, they've won their last 3 games. You know, obviously that's always a tough situation. You know, I know Jeff and I know there was a lot of thought put into that decision to step down. Obviously, he didn't feel like things were going the direction he wanted it to go, and he had some other things going on in his life that led to that decision. But you know, since then they have won 3 games. You know, they're playing at home. You know, they're confident in their own building, and you know, it'll be a challenge for us going in there. That's always one of the tougher places to play too, Jobey. You know, when you play there in the old Conference USA, it will be, you know, break time. Students won't be there for the most part, but that's a tough building. It is. It is. You know, we played there 2 years ago. I thought, you know, played a hard-fought game with them. Came up a little short there, but they play with a lot of confidence in that building. Like you said, it's an older building. You know, a lot of history in that building, and so it's a fun place to go play a game. Hopefully, our guys will be ready for it.
Well, Coach, as you look at East Carolina, some of their strengths. I mean, now with a new coach, things change, and they've got a little bit of time before the game, maybe to implement some things. Surprise you guys, but what are some keys to victory against them?
Yeah, I think you know, they may throw a few new wrinkles in here or there, but ultimately it's going to be personnel driven. I mean, their main 3 guys are guys that they've had there for the last couple years, and B.J. Tyson and Kentrell Barkley, 2 of their top 3 scorers. We kind of know how they play. They got a new guy, a transfer from Hawaii, 5th-year guy, and Isaac Fleming, who's played well for them. And giving them kind of a third, you know, 3-headed monster, you know, from the scoring standpoint, a guy that likes to penetrate and cause problems defensively. So, you know, they'll have some big guys inside. They always have good size, you know, banging around on the inside. So it'll be another game where it's gonna, you know, be a game of tempos. You know, we'd like to probably play faster than they would, but you know, like I said, with the new coach and. You know, I've watched some of their games recently, but, you know, as a study film, I'm sure they'll have a few different wrinkles than when Lebo was coaching, and we'll have to make those adjustments.
Seems like a team, too. We played some teams recently that, you know, live more on the 3-point shot. These guys are banging it more inside. Yeah, they, you know, they can make threes. That's not their strong suit, but like you said, they're big. They like to drive it. They really try to punch the ball, attack into the paint. So we'll have to be good one-on-one, guarding the ball and then rebounding the ball will be key. Yeah, 3 players over 6 rebounds a game, so they're getting it done on the glass. Yeah, they attack. They've always done that, like I said, with a lot of size. You know, Barkley, you know, from the wing position, you know, is really leading them in rebound. You know, one of their top rebounders at, you know, 6 a game. You know, Jabari Craig, big guy inside, averages almost 8 rebounds a game for them. So they crash the glass hard. We'll have to do a good job on them. It'll be an interesting road trip because we go to East Carolina, then we'll spend the night there, then travel from there down to Tampa, Florida, but not play until Thursday. So a chance to, with, you know, school being closed and all, just to stay on the road and spend some time together, then play twice. Yeah, I think, you know, sometimes it's good to get on the road, just kind of be the team, let's come together as a unit, try to pull this thing together and start playing better basketball. That's the goal. I know everybody wants to do that. You know, sometimes when you're going through
a struggle, you got to work your way out of it, like I said, and that's really what it comes down to. So we'll get in the gym this week, get back to work, and see if we can't start playing better basketball when we show up at East Carolina.
And if you're going to spend some time on the road, Tampa's not a bad place in December, right?
There could be worse places to be in December, that's for sure.
Let's take a break. One more segment coming up with Coach, and then we'll have Coach Cara Consuegra coming in for the second half hour to talk about the women's program. This is Gold Mine Live on the Charlotte IMG Sports Network.
The Ford year-end sales event is in full swing.
Hey, Santa Claus is coming.
'Tis the season.
No, that's him in my blind spot.
He is rocking that scooter.
With a sidecar.
Doesn't need reindeer, baby.
Making the holidays happen. That's Ford, America's best-selling brand. Now during the Ford year-end sales event, get 0 for 72 plus 1,000 cash back on a 2017 F-150. See your Carolina Ford dealer today.
Sophie, his 13th birthday. Gift, we've got you. Guitar, coming tomorrow. Road game today, surprise party tomorrow. Change of plans. Game tomorrow.
No, birthday tomorrow.
Guitar, reroute.
Birthdays are on birthdays.
Party, relocate. UPS My Choice makes rerouting packages easy. How we're helping companies solve for the needs of customers like Sophie.
The Student Athlete of the Week, sponsored by Ortho Carolina, the official team physician of your Charlotte 49ers. This week's Ortho Carolina Student Athlete of the Week is Madison Barnett. Barnett is a sophomore on the women's golf team from Mableton, Georgia. She transferred to Charlotte this year from Wofford to help start up the women's golf team for the 49ers. She had the honor of taking the 49ers' first ever tee shot in competition in the fall at Vanderbilt's Mason Rudolph Championship. She played at all 4 tournaments this fall for Charlotte and is poised to help the team be successful in their first spring as a competitive program. Madison Barnett, the Ortho Carolina Student Athlete of the Week. This has been the Ortho Carolina Student Athlete of the Week, brought to you by Ortho Carolina, the official team physician of your Charlotte 49ers.
Welcome back to Gold Mine Live. It's our last segment with Coach Mark Price to wrap up this section of the season before we go into conference play. We'll be back here with the next show after the second week of January. Well, Coach, we talked about what's coming up. The Niners have East Carolina a week from today, then at South Florida. After that, it's 6 straight games on the road starting yesterday against Chattanooga. So I know you guys you're busy, focused on your team, but I think last week the Chicago Bulls actually came here. They were playing the Hornets and used Halton as a practice facility. And you still get a chance to keep your eyes on the NBA a little bit?
Not as much as I used to, obviously, when it was part of my job. But it's, since I've gotten to the college game, I try to keep up when I can. But my focus is mostly on the college game, so I'm a little behind when it comes to the NBA these days.
Has been a couple of, I think, surprises. Really, Coach Stevens doing a great job with the Celtics. They had the injury with Gordon Hayward at the start, but boy, they've had a great first half of the season. Yeah,
all the talk of Kyrie Irving going over to the Celtics and how that would work out and everything. Obviously, losing Gordon Hayward, everybody thought, well, they're going to be done, and now here they are, number 1 in the East, team. So he does a great job with them, and Kyrie Irving's obviously fit in really well into that system.
Wish our friends over with the Hornets as well a good season this year. It's a slow start for them, but hopefully they'll pick it up over the holidays.
Yeah, and the biggest, obviously, shout out and prayers go to Steve Clifford right now, who's dealing with some health issues. Has missed the last 3 games, hadn't been able to coach, and so he's a good friend of mine, and obviously our prayers are for him first of all, just to get healthy, and I know they miss him. He's such a great leader for that team to not have him around, and while they struggle in the meantime. So they've gotten off to a slow start as well. Hopefully they can get it turned around.
Yeah, I hope so. And also, I know a lot of folks are excited about the Panthers are doing and wish them the best too. They won yesterday, great comeback against the Minnesota Vikings. So as we look at the holidays now, we've talked about the guys have exams these next few days, then it's back in the gym. But after that road trip over to South Florida, we won't play for a while. So what are you going to let the guys do? Get out of town a little bit, or when do they come back? Things like that.
Yeah, well, we'll let them. Let the guys that have somewhere to go home for Christmas. For a couple days. Enjoy their families, get away, and then come back and get after it again. Those are always the fun practices for coaches, during the holidays, because there's no school to worry about, and we can really kind of run them in the ground those days, get a little extra out of them, So it's a time to really try to find things we need to work on, things we got to get better at, and you got more time to do it with, and that's always helpful.
You got any Christmas holiday plans?
Just be around here, just going to spend time with the family, right here in Charlotte. Keep it simple and then get ready to get back to work right after the holidays.
How about guys like Milos and Luka Vasic, being from Serbia, they're not going to get a chance to go home. Any plans yet for what they're going to do?
Yeah, I mean, obviously Milos has a host family that he lived with when he was in high school here. I think he'll go spend some time with them. He'll have that. Luka, obviously Coach Simovic, he'll probably spend some time with there. Any of the guys that don't have anywhere to go will spend some time at my house as well over the holidays. We just want to make sure everybody has a place to go to enjoy Christmas.
Sounds great. And plus, we're on the road for so long now. It's given you some time to sell some houses, right?
Yeah, work's busy, but it's nice to be able to relax a little bit, be with family, and enjoy some basketball.
Guys, thanks so much. Really appreciate taking the time today. Have a great holiday, and we'll see you again for the game on Monday against East Carolina.
Sounds great. Thanks, guys.
We'll take a break, come back with the second half hour of our show with head coach Cara Consuegra talking about the women's program coming up next on the Charlotte IMG Sports Network.
The Ford year-end sales event is in full swing.
Hey, Santa Claus is coming.
'Tis the season.
No, that's him in my blind spot.
He is rocking that scooter.
With a sidecar.
Doesn't need reindeer, baby.
Making the holidays happen. That's Ford, America's best-selling brand. Now during the Ford year-end sales event, get 0 for 72 plus 1,000 cash back on a 2017 F-150. See your Carolina Ford dealer today.
Sophie, his 13th birthday. Gift, we've got you. Guitar, coming tomorrow. Road game today, surprise party tomorrow. Change of plans. Game tomorrow.
No, birthday tomorrow.
Guitar, reroute.
Birthdays are on birthdays.
Party, relocate. UPS My Choice makes rerouting packages easy. How we're helping companies solve for the needs of customers like Sophie.
Welcome back to Goldmine Live, second half hour now as we talk Niners women's basketball. Head coach Cara Consuegra, and they've been on the road a little bit as well as we head towards the exam week this week, which starts today, and then the Christmas holiday coming up shortly as well. Coach, good to see you. I know you're just back in town. Hope you're doing well.
I'm doing well. It's good to see you guys.
It's been a little bit of a struggle for you guys too, but some of the games, I know you kind of feel like you're right on the precipice of doing something good. You've had some really tough opponents. We talked about last time we played. Some really tough competition. Hasn't let up, but you've been hanging in there with them and had some opportunities. Hasn't gone your way yet, but had some opportunities.
Yeah, I mean, it's frustrating. You can look at it both ways. I mean, we're competitors. We want to win. So it's frustrating because we haven't been able to finish some of these games that I feel like we should have. But on the other side, we're competing. We're right there. I mean, we're so close. And, I think that's a positive thing when you do have a young team or an inexperienced team that, we're competing and we're there. We just have to learn how to win. And I was actually just talking to Mark about this as he walked off the stage. Like I said, you have to learn how to win. And you're like, well, what does that mean? Well, at this level, it's like 2 plays. I mean, we look at the Arkansas game, and we probably lost that game based on 2 plays. That, you have to play for 40 minutes. To beat a team like that, you have to play for 40 minutes. And when you have young kids and they don't understand that mentality yet, they just think, okay, I can get it back the next play. Well, you can't always get it back the next play. And I think that's what we're learning. That's what we're going through. We're trying to get the leadership that on the court, they're like, we got to get it done right here. This is it. We have to get this defensive stance, or we can't have a careless turnover here. We have to score here. So, we're inching closer. You look at our stats, you can tell we're getting better. We're improving in our field goal percentage. We have 4 people in double figures now. So, we're getting better, but at the same time, it's frustrating not to see some wins from that improvement.
And at times, Coach, you talk about 1 or 2 plays making a difference. So often, people think of the last couple minutes of a basketball game, but actually, it's some of those careless plays right at the beginning of the ball game that come back to kind of bite you.
That's right, and that's what I think is really hard when you're dealing with a young team. Is again, though, in the first quarter we have 2 errant turnovers, which could have led to baskets for us, and maybe. On the flip side, lead to baskets to them. Well, that's a huge, that's a huge turnaround. And I think a lot of times just young players are like, okay, it's no big deal. We can get it back. Well, it is a big deal. Again, when you're playing the likes of Arkansas and Iowa and South Dakota State, it is a big deal. Those teams are really good. And so you have to, it's hard because you're like, well, you can't expect them not to make mistakes. That's not what I'm saying. But just to have that urgency that every possession matters, every defensive stance matters. That's you have to learn that. They have to learn that, and we're getting closer.
As you look at too, when you made the schedule, we talked about there's no moral victories. You want to win every night, but you did it with a purpose where you get to conference play. Hopefully these games are going to get you prepared for Conference USA and give you a chance to win that league.
Yeah, I don't think anybody's playing a schedule like we are. I think there's a couple teams that have played some really good teams, but nobody has played the schedule that we have. And we take pride in that. And like you said, certainly do we want to win more of these games? We do. But I know that we are prepping ourselves and we're getting better. And I can look at us as a team, and I can look at us on film from 2 weeks ago. I can look at our stats from 2 weeks ago, and I know that we are improving. I can see it. So you just have to stay the course and stay the process and say, okay, 2 more weeks of finishing out this schedule. What will we look like then? And are we preparing ourselves for non-conference? I think we are. But on the other hand, we want to win some of these down the stretch here. We want to win some of these.
Talk to Coach Price about this. So you tell us your plan. We have exams this week. What's it going to be like for your group? And as you get ready for the next game, but you got first the classes to take care of.
Right. Number one, no doubt, is for them to finish strong academically. And today is a super tough day for them in terms of the number of finals. So we're off today. And I think the week during finals, it's a great balance. One, you want to make sure they have enough time academically to get their work done. 2, you want to make sure you build in some rest time because we've been going hard. We've played, obviously 9 games at this point, and you need to start to build in some rest as the season goes. And then 3, we actually get some days to practice where it's not a game prep day, and that's really important too. Like, what can we add at this point? What do we need to really focus in and improve on? And we're going to have a couple days of that here tomorrow, Wednesday, Thursday, where we're going to be able to just practice and we're going to be able to just get better. And I'm looking forward to that. And then we'll have another day off to build in that rest, and then we'll have 2 days to prep for Wake Forest, and we got to go play there.
You mentioned adding a couple things when you get the opportunity to practice, not having to prep for games. Maybe what are some of the things you guys are going to focus on as you move into those practices?
Well, that's still a debate, so we're going to have some coaching staff meetings in the next day for sure, because I do rely on my staff to help me make those decisions, or to give me, I guess I'm making the decision, but to give me, kind of ideas. For us, we've been pretty vanilla defensively. We're just playing zone at this point and trying to get good at one thing, and we have gotten a lot better in our zone, so I kind of feel like, okay, can we expand here a little bit, maybe press a little bit more, add in some wrinkles here and there defensively. I think possibly I'd like to do. Offensively, we have shown a lot of improvement over the last week and a half, and so we're starting to really get a handle on our motion and on our roles. So again, what little wrinkles maybe can we add? We're not going to overhaul anything. We're not going to do anything big, but it just comes down, like I said, to little wrinkles. Maybe add in a set here, a baseline out of bounds here, little things that you have time to do right now.
I've seen bits of your practices every now and then, and you guys get after it. It's fun to watch you guys. So as a coach, I'm thinking you got to like this time of year because, in the preseason you can tell them what it's going to be like during a game, but you've got these 9 games to use as an example, and you've been, you haven't won all of them. So you can go back and say, look, this is what I'm telling you about. This is what happened in this game, and you got this 7 to 10 day period to really get after it.
Yeah, absolutely. We're constantly just pushing the standard with them and trying to get them to compete, and not just settle for competing either. Like, right? It's a good thing that we're competing. It's a good thing that we're there. But how do we get over the hump? That takes effort. That takes us pushing them. It's not okay to miss layups in practice because you miss them in the games, or it's not okay to not get that loose ball in practice because that loose ball might cost us the game. So just those little things of constantly, just staying the course with them and pushing them and making them understand that. And but yeah, I appreciate that. We do go hard in practice, and we've been pushing them really hard. But I think that's part of why we're improving right now too.
We've talked about the youth and new pieces, but right now one of those new pieces, Mariah Lenny's done a nice job in a role developing as a backup point guard. Tell us about how she's played recently.
Yeah, Mariah's getting better quickly. I think the most important reason for that, or the number one reason for that, is she's becoming better in practice. And I think commonly for young players, they just don't understand how hard you have to go in practice in order to be prepared in games. Right, and I think for her early that was hard. Like, she'd never been pushed the way that she's been pushed in terms of practicing, right? And she's never had to go against players like Laia and Amaya every day. I mean, she's from a small school, right? So that's been really good for her. And I've seen a direct correlation of her going harder in practice to playing better in games. She's really taken some pride in the last probably week and a half, 2 weeks on her defense. I mean, that's where she was struggling a lot, being able to guard the way we need her to guard. And she's really improved. But you can see it in her. Like, it's not like she wants to get better. She realizes she needs to get better, and it's coming from her and not us now. So, right, that's a big difference for her. And she's just going to keep getting better. And my confidence in her is just going to continue to go up as she performs like that in practice.
Tell us about the Arkansas game a little bit. I know you came up short on the end, but you had some opportunities. You talked about that. You did a great job on the glass of the team, though, in that game. We did. I mean, we out-rebounded them by double figures in the first half. Second half, they clawed back into it in terms of the rebounding. But, you know, it's another game where overall we felt like we were the better team, and we felt like we played better than them for the majority of the game. I honestly feel like that game came down to the last 4 minutes. In the last 4 minutes, there were a couple plays that they made that we didn't. There were 2 loose balls on the floor that they got that we didn't. There was an open 3 in transition that we just didn't recover quick enough in transition defense. And, you know, it just wasn't enough. Now, with that being said, I mean, we got down maybe 5 or 6 in the last 3 minutes. I took a timeout, and I said, look, guys, like, this game isn't over. All we need is a score and a stop. It was our ball, right? All we need is a score and a stop and another score and a stop. And we came out and did that, which was really cool to see. You know, again, as a young team, like, they didn't give in. They didn't give up. They said, okay, and they came out and did it. And, again, we were right in a position to win the game. We just couldn't finish. And one thing we haven't talked about, health-wise, you guys doing okay right now? You got this break to get healthy if you're not. Yeah, we're okay. We've talked about Nye Jamison-Myers, our post player. She is extremely limited because of her knees. She has a lot of problems with her knees, which is really unfortunate. And a lot of, you know, when people come out and watch her and you see her play, you're like, gosh, she's missing layups. She's not getting down the floor. And it's not because she doesn't want to. She can't practice. You know, if she practices, her knees swell, and then she can't play in games. You know, so when you play her in games, her knees swell, and then she can't practice. So that's a frustrating situation we're navigating through, trying to figure it out, like how can we condition her without pounding her? How can we steal minutes in practice to help her get into a better rhythm without compromising her ability to play games? So that's been really like an underlying difficulty that we've had to face that we're still kind of working through. But she's really the only other major one. I actually feel like some of our injuries are starting to clear up in terms of just little things that have been nagging us. So overall, we're in a good place. Like I said, if we can get Nye a little bit better, I'd feel better. I know you love your staff. You got a special guest coming up in just a moment. Nicole Woods, one of your assistant coaches. Tell us about her a little bit. Yeah, I'm really excited for her to be on the show. Nicole has been with me for quite a while. I think this is her 6th year with me or 5th year with me. I recently promoted her to our recruiting coordinator because she is one of the most fantastic recruiters I've been around, and she's done an excellent job in that. But I'd say also this year I've given her a lot more just job responsibilities in terms of on the court. You know, she was always kind of a complimentary court coach, and you know, great with recruiting and great with relationships. And you know, this year it was time for her. So she's really elevated her game on the court. I've been proud to see her growth, and just really thrilled to have her and excited for you guys to get to know her a little bit. Sounds great. We'll do that coming up next. Coach, thanks. We'll see you in a little bit. Sounds good. Back with more Gold Mine Live in a moment on the Charlotte IMG Sports Network.
The Ford year-end sales event is in full swing.
Hey, Santa Claus is coming.
'Tis the season.
No, that's him in my blind spot.
He is rocking that scooter.
With a sidecar.
Doesn't need reindeer, baby.
Making the holidays happen. That's Ford, America's best-selling brand. Now during the Ford year-end sales event, get 0 for 72 plus 1,000 cash back on a 2017 F-150. See your Carolina Ford dealer today.
Sophie, his 13th birthday. Gift, we've got you. Guitar, coming tomorrow. Road game today, surprise party tomorrow. Change of plans. Game tomorrow.
No, birthday tomorrow.
Hotel. Guitar, reroute.
Birthdays are on birthdays.
Party, relocate. UPS My Choice makes rerouting packages easy. How we're helping companies solve for the needs of customers like Sophie.
Welcome back to Gold Mine Live. Got a special guest going to have visit us now. It's Nicole Woods, assistant basketball coach for the Honor Women's program. And Coach, good to see you on this Monday. Hope you're doing well.
I'm excellent.
It's great to have you join us here today. It's 5th year with the program, but you're certainly no stranger to the area from Gastonia. Went to Belmont Abbey. Tell us about growing up here and now becoming a 49er.
Yes, we call it the Gas House. I'm from Gastonia, North Carolina, Hunter Huss High School, the only real high school in Gastonia. And so it's an honor to be here, to be a 49er, and to see how the campus has grown. I had a lot of friends that went to school here and spent a lot of time on campus. So me coming back and seeing the growth and just seeing the expansion with football and everything, it's been great, and it's been an honor to be here.
As a recruiter, that has to be a big selling point because this place really has changed. As alumni come back, as new students get here, it's totally different now than it was 5-10 years ago.
For sure. I came one of the first football games we had. One of my best friends ended up graduating from here, and we came back, did a campus tour, and she could not believe it. It's amazing, the growth, and I'm excited to see, especially once the light rail gets going, just how much more the campus is going to benefit from that.
Tell us about this group of 49ers, what you like about this team. You work with the perimeter players, and you lost some pieces from last year, some shooters. So
yeah.
It's a new group.
Correct. A few big pieces from last year's team. I think this group, they're a good group of kids. They work hard. As Coach Cara alluded to, it's just different. Everybody's playing different roles, and they have different expectations. And so sometimes when you're counted on to do things, it makes things a little different than before when if you do it, great, and if you don't, it's okay, we can still win. So just getting them to buy into the little things, staying true to the process. And I think last year, this time of the year, we were really good, and then we kind of tailed off at the end. So I'm hoping for the reverse action this year.
Coach, as you look ahead, you being the recruiting coordinator, being from the area, you guys have 4 players from North Carolina coming in next year. Just talk about the importance of being able to recruit the state of North Carolina.
That makes me smile a lot when you say that. I actually got to see 2 of them play this past weekend, and the future is definitely bright. I think we've done a good job of really recruiting the state really well, and for various reasons we've been able to get some, but not as many as we had wanted to in the past. And so I think with our continued success, and a lot of people are really giving us a chance now. They know that we do things the right way. We care about their young ladies on and off the court. And the 4 that we have, we've got 1 from Charlotte and Rena Green, 2 from the Greensboro area, and Jasmine Harris and Madison Moore, and then Southeast Raleigh High School and Jada McMillian, and all 4 of them bring different dynamics to our team that I think Niner Nation is really going to enjoy.
One of the unique aspects is this full class is all North Carolina kids. That has to make you happy.
It does. It really does. I'm Carolina all through and through. I think it's the best state, in the whole United States. And so it makes me happy because we've really been able to keep them home. I think Raleigh's, 2.5 hours away. So that means a lot to the fan base, for parents and families being able to come see them play. And then, especially with having Rena Green from being here in Charlotte, she's going to be very special for us. And so for us to land a player of that magnitude, and we started recruiting her when she was in the 9th grade, and seeing your efforts pay off, we're really excited about them.
Tell us a little bit about her and her game.
Well, Rena, she's very special. She can play on the ball. She can play off the ball. She can handle it. She can score the ball in a lot of different ways. And so we're excited having Laya, who can, we all know, do a lot of different things, and have someone that can help her as far as her being able to distribute to them, or her being able to play off of the ball some as well, which, as you see, she's shooting over 60-something% from the 3. We would love for her to shoot more of those, but she's so trying to get everybody else involved. So I think with having a player like Rena to kind of take some of that pressure off of her will be able to help us too in Laya's senior year.
Are you done with this next class? Are you still looking for one more pieces?
That's always a good question. Everybody always asks. We say we're done, but we might not be done. It just depends. If somebody comes along that's a Sierra Gregory shooter, you just never know. It's hard, it's hard to turn that away. So it just depends. As of now, we're done, but that could always change.
And always, as you said, starting the ninth period with Arena, you're still looking for that next one for the next class.
I'm actually going to see a ninth grader on Friday that I'm really excited about, averaging, I think, 30-something points a game. Wow. And so we really do start young, going to see him. It starts with camp. A lot of kids, Lauren Harley, Mariah Lenny, that are on our rosters, all of those kids came to camp with their teams whenever they were in the ninth grade. And a lot of times that was our first time being able to see them. And so starting there and then just continuing to build the relationship over the years, it matters.
It's interesting you said camp because the overseas camps you work, what's that like? And that might be an avenue, too, in the future of tapping that European market.
It really could be. I'm actually, last year was my last year overseeing camp. I don't know how I really feel about it because I'm actually one of those that loves camp. I'm definitely a people person, so anytime I've got 100-something teams here and I'm able to mix and mingle with a lot of different people, I love that. But I still will be assistant. But camp is big here. We average over 110 teams every year for team camp. So you can imagine that 9 courts going for 3 days in a row, and we have thousands of people that come through campus during that time. And so a lot of times it's the first time that a lot of the student athletes come to campus, and that's the first impression that they have of Charlotte. And so we try to give them a great first impression and then continue to build that relationship.
Coach, the times have changed with recruiting and social media and so many different ways. There's so many, it seems like, different people kind of vying for these players' attention at an early age. What would you say is just the key to being a successful recruiter?
Well, you're right. It has changed a lot. And I really think, again, the relationship with actually directly talking to them and then with social media. Coach Cara will tell you every night, probably I spend about 45 minutes going through the social media of our recruits that we're looking at, because there's so many different ways to character check these kids nowadays. And I just say, if you don't know, well, then you didn't do your job. Because most of the time they put the information out there for you to see, good, bad, or indifferent. But it's your job to kind of vet them out to see if they're a player that, kind of fits into what we do here. And so, recruiting sometimes is Russian roulette too. You can think that a kid is going to pan out and then they end up not, and vice versa. But you just have to do your due diligence and continue to build a relationship. Be transparent, because the worst thing is having kids get there and it's totally different than what they think it's going to be, and none of them really know until they get there. But try to be transparent. This is who we are. We'd love for you to be here, but if you can't, this is what we do, and if this isn't for you, then this might not be the place for you.
Coach, thanks so much for taking some time today. Good luck the rest of the season.
Thank you so much.
That's going to be one more segment coming up now. Nicole Woods joining us here today, assistant coach in the Honors program. We'll come back, Coach Consuegra, in a moment, wrapping things up on the Charlotte IMG Sports Network.
The Ford year-end sales event is in full swing.
Hey, Santa Claus is coming.
'Tis the season.
No. That's him in my blind spot.
He is rocking that scooter.
With a sidecar.
Doesn't need reindeer, baby.
Making the holidays happen. That's Ford, America's best-selling brand. Now during the Ford year-end sales event, get 0 for 72 plus 1,000 cash back on a 2017 F-150. See your Carolina Ford dealer today.
Sophie, his 13th birthday. Gift? We've got you. Guitar? Coming tomorrow. Road game today? Surprise party tomorrow. Change of plans. Game tomorrow.
No, birthday tomorrow.
Guitar. Reroute.
Birthdays are on birthdays.
Party. Relocate. UPS My Choice makes rerouting packages easy. How we're helping companies solve for the needs of customers like Sophie.
Welcome back. Last part of the show as we wrap up this last show before the new year. Got a few minutes left with Coach Cara Consuegra, and really enjoyed talking to Coach Woods. And I'm an idiot, so we all know that. I get some cheat notes every now and then. It said overseas camp. I thought she was doing a camp overseas. She was great. She didn't. He's over here. He's trying to laugh at me, and he should have. But
it was a good test for her. You couldn't fluster her. I like it. Yeah. Showing her toughness. We gotta have that.
When I said, get some of those players from the European market, that must have been, she'd look at me like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, you can't fluster her. I love it.
Oh, we got Milo Supica and Lucas Vasic on the men's side. Hey, okay, we got a couple of players coming from Spain. We got one, right?
We got one.
So transition that into a question for Coach. Then you guys you tried to tap into the foreign market, getting players other than, of course, you have one already, and Laya from Spain. Is that a focus of recruiting for you guys, or is it just kind of you take it as it comes?
Yeah, we're certainly up on the European market. Quite honestly, the kids are getting so good over there, it's getting tougher and tougher. Like, you used to be able to go in and kind of steal a kid from Europe. But now if you go to, like, European championships, you see every Power 5 head coach over there watching kids because they're just improving vastly. They're really good. They bring a different dynamic. I mean, obviously, if you watch Laya play, you can see her dynamic is completely different from the rest of our team. So it's tougher to go over there, I think, now in Europe and steal kids. But we're certainly still doing our due diligence, and we're up on some kids. And, we'll see what happens. But, our number one concern is we want to be able to recruit the state of North Carolina and our region. We feel like there's enough great players in our region that if we can recruit consistently here, we're going to be in good shape. So that's our number one focus. It's been that, and will remain that for sure.
And oftentimes these European clubs, they find good kids at 13, 14. They go ahead and sign them to contracts and so forth, which sometimes breaks NCAA rules and doesn't allow them to come over and play as well.
That's right. So there's just so many dynamics that go into recruiting a kid from Europe that certainly they're worth it if someone like Laya is worth it. But if we can find that here, we're gonna recruit and take the kid here.
Coach, got a couple of minutes left. Tell us about the next two games. You have Wake Forest next in the schedule, then the Davidson game, battle for bragging rights, of course, in Mecklenburg County.
Yeah, two really important games. I mean, obviously we want to see all this work that we've been doing, all this process that we're preaching, all the improvement that is coming. We want to see that transpire into some wins at this point in time. And playing Wake off the break, we're playing in their Education Day game, so it's 11 a.m. tip. It's going to be another really tough game. Is it winnable? Yeah, absolutely. But just like Arkansas was winnable and East Carolina was winnable, and go down the line. So it's going to be a matter: are we going to be ready to go there and win it? I hope we are. We're going to do everything we can this week to prepare us. They're a good team, but we're a good team too. We just have to be able to play for those 40 minutes. So that's going to be a really tough test for us. And then coming back and playing Davidson throughout the records, it doesn't matter. It's a rivalry game no matter what, and we have to play at their place. They have a new coaching staff, so I don't even know anything about them at this point because I'm focused on Wake Forest. But my staff is doing their job getting us ready, so it'll be different just in terms of we've played them every year. I think maybe my second year we started playing them, and they had the same coaching staff, and I'm very familiar with them, what they ran, how they ran things. Obviously, being completely new, it'll be different, but we got to go there and battle. That's the bottom line. We have to compete, and we have to do the little things it takes to win the game.
Coach, thanks so much. As I said the last show before the holiday break, so have a great Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. Good luck this coming week, and we'll talk to you soon.
All right, same to you guys. Appreciate it.
Head coach Cara Consuegra, I want to thank everybody for being on the show here today. Don't forget, the men are back in action. Our next broadcast will be on Monday at East Carolina, so check the schedule for that. That's going to do it for us. We're back here the second week of January with Gold Mine Live. So long, everybody.